Intel confirmed. 9 hostiles, 3 Marines.
Ghost 2, you are not to engage. Alpha team is on its way.
No time.
A spoiled rich guy causes chaos in an office building after trying to assault his girlfriend. When he's told to leave, he acts entitled and arrogant. A security guard steps in, but the brat and his bodyguards mock him. Things escalate into a fight, and the guard ends it fast, taking down the entire group. This man, named John Triton, the brat, is an ex-Marine who was discharged because he disobeyed his director. You're being discharged. His offense was defying command to rescue his fellow soldiers from al-Qaeda militants just moments before their execution. Instead of punishment, he's asked to leave his post with dignity. Back home, he's greeted with excitement by his wife, Kate, who's thrilled to finally have him back. John assures Kate that he will not be going anywhere, staying right by her side. He also wants to start his job as a security job as soon as possible because he believes he won't be able to stay idle for a long time. She looks forward to spending time together, but John struggles to adjust to civilian life. Is this what you do all day? He takes a job as a security guard at a corporate office. Meanwhile, a criminal named Rome arrives at a jewelry store. His gang is already inside, posing as customers. Rome plays it cool at first, then suddenly attacks the security guard. His accomplice, Bennett, pulls out a gun and orders everyone to the ground. Everybody on the ground now! What he needed was just beyond the bulletproof door. He grabs a woman and threatens to kill her unless the manager opens the door to the back. The manager has no option but to listen to Rome. The woman that Rome held hostage reveals herself to be Angela, another member of Rome's gang, and his partner. Rome heads to the back, forcing the manager to fill a bag with diamonds. Before leaving, the manager tells Rome to rough him up to make the scene look real. Rome, you gotta hit me, it's gotta look real. But instead, Rome coldly shoots him dead. Before leaving, Rome tells everyone not to judge him or assume how he feels about the great state of South Carolina. He mentions how he loves the people and the state. The gang makes a violent escape, unleashing bullets on the approaching police car. Morgan, another member of the crew, even destroys a police car as they flee. Rome takes one final look at the destroyed police car before leaving. Later, the cops arrive at the bank to investigate. Then Bieran, the detective, tells a cop that the robbers went straight for the diamonds instead of the small stuff. He believes that the robbery was an inside job. Back at the office, John is on shift with his coworker Joe, who spends most of his day reading a magazine. Is this what you do all day? Joe talks about how much he loves the job, great pay, solid benefits, and the promise of a move to management soon. But when John finds out Joe has been stuck in the same position for 9 years, he starts to doubt that a promotion is ever coming. How long you been working here? 9 years. They respond to a disturbance on the 12th floor where a wealthy man named Rick is assaulting his ex-girlfriend. When Rick ignores John's warning, John forcefully takes him down and tells him to leave. Rick pretends to walk away, but quickly returns, hurling insults at John. As soon as John reaches for him, one of Rick's bodyguards steps in, ready to attack. But Joe steps between them just in time. Joe reminds John that situations like this happen every day, and if he wants to avoid trouble, he needs to learn to let things go. The Jenny just tried to hit me, man. I know, I saw that, and he shouldn't have done that. You shouldn't have done that. But when the bodyguard misbehaves with Joe, he loses it, and the fight breaks down between the group. John overpowers all of them easily and ends up throwing Rick across the window. Joe realizes that John had messed up big time with this one move. Rick warns John that his actions were probably caught on camera, and by the time John goes to bed tonight, Rick will already own the entire building they work in. Rick also mentions how he and Joe will be fired after this. See, you really messed up somewhere. Somehow, somebody just got all this on video. Rick's warning proves true. They both get fired and are now drinking to cope. Joe tries to lift John's spirits, saying he'll land another job thanks to all his solid training. But John isn't so sure. He feels like none of that Marine training fits into the corporate world. Being a Marine was everything to him, and now he's lost a great job over one reckless mistake. Joe tries to console John, telling him his life is changing and he must change with it. He wants John to take a step back and see what life has it for him. Later, Rome and Angela are hiding out in a hotel. Angela is shaken, visibly upset that Rome and Morgan both went a little overboard with the heist. She's afraid there must be... But Rome says everything went to plan except for the manager recognizing him. He tries to put Angela at ease and earn her trust. Just then, Rome receives a call from his boss who scolds him for killing 2 cops and acting recklessly. He tells Rome to hand over the diamonds if he wants to get paid. Later, Joe drops John off at his house. John asks him not to mention what happened at work. About what happened at work today. I'm not telling anybody. Cool. Inside, John and his wife watch the clip of John assaulting Rick. John feels embarrassed. Kate suggests that they should go on a road trip to have some time to themselves. John likes the idea and agrees. Meanwhile, Morgan meets with Frank. Morgan, who insists they use a minivan for the group's travel. Morgan isn't thrilled about the choice, but Frank argues it's the only vehicle big enough to fit everyone. As Frank leaves, Morgan takes another car. The next day, John and Kate hit the road. John tells Kate about a place up ahead where his father used to take him when he was a kid. He mentions how his dad liked it there because there was no one who could hear him and his brother scream. They stop at a gas station to refuel. Coincidentally, it's the same one where Rome and his gang are also fueling up. Inside, John unknowingly crosses paths with Angela and Bennett. Just then, a police car pulls up. Rome and his gang start sweating as the officer chats casually with Rome. You visit him much? Couple times a year. Morgan suddenly shoots him in the head. As the second cop tries to leave with the car, Rome kills her. After hearing the gunshots outside, John rushes to Kate. However, he's knocked out by Bennett on his way. Before leaving, Angela shoots the cashier and the gang kidnaps Kate, speeding off as John regains consciousness. Morgan shoots the gas pumps, causing a massive explosion that throws John back. John barely escapes another explosion, helps a wounded cop, and jumps in his car to give chase. While chasing, John calls the cops and gives them information about Rome and his group. Angela finds Kate's belongings and realizes she's married to a Marine. She insults Kate and pisses her off. The group doesn't see John as a threat, even after knowing he's an ex-Marine. John is able to catch up to Rome and his gang. The gang opens fire on John's car and tries to slow him down. Despite everything, John refuses to slow down and keeps chasing them. Rome tries to run him off the road, eventually pushing him off a cliff. John's car gets destroyed, but he survives miraculously. The gang's car breaks down completely, forcing them to abandon it. Frustrated, Angela knocks Kate out and Morgan is left to carry her. The gang then escapes on foot through the swamp. In the meantime, Detective Van Buren arrives at the gas station and hears about John's radio call. At the crash site, he finds John emerging from the swamp. He explains the situation to Van, saying he doesn't want to leave his wife alone with those people. Van warns him not to go after the gang. I can't give you permission to pursue. I'm not asking for it. Telling him how the whole area is tidal and the water level changes all the time. Van believes that John won't be able to trace the gang under such situations. But John ignores the advice and sets off on foot anyway. Meanwhile, a police helicopter is scanning the area for the gang. As they continue moving, Kate suddenly strikes Morgan and attempts to flee, but Bennett quickly grabs her before she can get away. Morgan is clearly frustrated about having to trek through the swamp instead of riding in a car. He begins venting about how the entire country is after them for killing 2 cops.
Rome and Viscera point fingers at Morgan for the murders, which leaves him feeling insulted. When Morgan points a gun at Viscera and before he could pull the trigger, Rome killed Viscera without any reason or explanation. Viscera's dead body is eaten by the alligators nearby. Law enforcement begins searching the area. Van tells the cops to keep him informed if they found anything. In the meantime, John reaches the location where Viscera was killed. He notices his bloodstains on the tree and finds his knife nearby. At that point, he knew he was very close to the gang. As Rome and the gang move ahead, he receives a call from his boss. Instead of following orders, Rome chooses to cut him out of the deal and keep the diamonds for himself. As a matter of fact, it's such a great idea that I even came up with a name for it. It's called You're Out. Just then, a helicopter passes through the location, forcing the gang to hide. After the helicopter leaves, Rome tells the gang to keep moving. As John moves forward, he looks at some footprints which guide him to the gang. He moves like a predator and can't wait to jump on the group. Morgan starts complaining again, turning the situation into a rant about himself and his race. Rome tells him he needs to stop viewing white people as the enemy and start seeing them as individuals. He then tries to talk to Kate, suggesting they might have a future together if Angela weren't in the picture. Kate shuts him down, calling him crazy, leaving Rome embarrassed. As John makes his way forward, he's ambushed by a man named Billy. John tries to explain that he's not a cop and is only looking for some people, but Billy doesn't buy it. When John tries to fight back, another man blindsides him and knocks him out. In the meantime, Rome sees a bunch of cops checking out a lodge and informs his group about it. He plans on letting the cops leave and then crossing the river. When John comes to, he finds himself tied to a chair. One of the men punches him, convinced he's a cop. Despite John insisting several times that he isn't, they refuse to believe him. "What the hell you doing out here, cop?" Irritated, John pretends to be a cop who's being tracked by a GPS. Just then, John catches both men off guard and quickly beats them up. He continues his chase and finds the gang's hideout cabin. Before going in, Morgan checks the door for any alarms or contact points but doesn't find anything. Bennett brushes it off, saying it's just a shack, and urges them to go inside. Rome tells Morgan to look for a generator, but Morgan starts whining instead. He then shares a story about attending a camp when he was 13, where he encountered a man who deeply traumatized him. Despite hearing this, Rome doesn't offer any sympathy. He still just wants Morgan to find the generator. Noticing that the group had let their guard down, Kate quietly began trying to free herself from her restraints, carefully loosening the knots without drawing attention. Meanwhile, just before leaving the room, Morgan turned to the others and made a serious request. He asked them all to keep his secret to themselves, emphasizing how important it was that no one else found out. Morgan then goes to the basement and starts the generator. As he's about to leave, he hears a strange sound. It was John. He ambushed Morgan and started fighting him. In the end, John killed Morgan with the knife. Rome steps outside to make a call to Frank. He tells him that Plan A has completely fallen apart. Frank replies that he already knows Rome and his gang are all over the news. Plan A is screwed. "No shit, you're all over the news. We're switching to Plan B."
Rome then says they're moving on to Plan B, even though they don't actually have a clear idea of what that plan is. Rome then tells Frank to leave a car for him and his gang at a specific location. John had been listening to Rome's conversation carefully. Inside, Kate keeps looking at Angela, which irritates her. Kate then mentions how pathetic Angela is, since she's nothing but a puppet to Rome, which irritates Angela further. Bennett asks Rome what the next step is. Rome explains that they need to head to Phoenix, where a contact will help them move the diamonds. He then hands Bennett the keys to a boat and asks if he can get it running. He also tells Bennett to check on Morgan, since he had not returned. As Bennett goes outside, he's ambushed by John, who engages him in a deadly fight. After killing Bennett, John drags his body over to where Morgan's corpse is lying. Just then, Ben shows up and spots the two corpses alongside John. He asks how many targets are left, and John tells him only 2 remain. Ben suggests John wait outside while he goes in, but John refuses. Ben warns him that he doesn't know what he's getting into, but John manages to talk him into letting him go in anyway. Meanwhile, the lights inside the cabin begin to flicker, giving Kate the perfect chance to make a run for it. Angela quickly goes after her, and the two end up in a struggle. Eventually, Angela corners Kate and holds her at gunpoint. Inside, John tries to ambush Rome, but Rome already has a gun aimed at him. Ben soon enters after John. In a surprising twist, Ben turns his gun on John, revealing that he's been working with Rome all along. He demands his share of the diamonds Rome has. "Where are they, Rome? Where's what? Give me my damn diamonds." Ben does not trust either John or Rome. Rome makes a deal with Ben. He wants him to kill John if he wants half the diamonds. Ben hesitates to pull the trigger, and John quickly takes him hostage. Rome opens fire on John and forces him to hide while escaping the scene before leaving with Angela and Kate. John opens fire on a cylinder and destroys the cabin. Luckily, John survives the chaos. Rome locks Kate up in the car's trunk and speeds off. As John sees him leave, he discovers a police boat nearby. The cop forces him to get out of the water and attempts to arrest him, but John turns the tables on him, stealing his boat and running away. Rome begins to suspect that Angela might be planning to keep all the diamonds for herself, but he stays silent when she confronts him about it. Rome then tells Angela they need to ditch the car and find another one because it's being tracked. Angela goes along with Rome's plan to honey trap a driver, kill him, and steal his truck. After switching vehicles, Rome and Angela speed off in the stolen truck, continuing their desperate escape. Meanwhile, John hears a police report about the truck driver's murder and immediately knows it's their doing. He races toward the marina, hoping to catch them before they vanish again. At the marina, John spots the stolen truck just in time. As it slows near the docks, Kate sees John approaching and quickly creates a diversion to draw Rome and Angela's attention. With the distraction working, John seizes the opportunity. He leaps onto the truck and confronts Angela first. In the chaos, he throws her off, and in a brutal twist of fate, she's struck by a passing bus, killing her instantly. Inside the truck, Rome and John begin a brutal hand-to-hand fight as the vehicle barrels forward uncontrollably. Can you please subscribe to our channel? Thank you very much. Like and comment. Okay, back to it. The fight is intense, both men trading blows, grappling for control. Kate, still aboard, manages to knock Rome's gun away just before he can shoot John. In the struggle, Rome loses control of the wheel and the truck crashes violently into a nearby building. Kate is thrown hard from the impact, trapped inside the wreckage and unconscious. John, injured but determined, pulls her out of the twisted metal, dragging her up to safety.